Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel Bishop. I'm a project manager here at CloudPoint, and I specialize in public safety in that world. Today, we're going to be talking about ArcGIS solutions. This is a wonderful opportunity for anyone that has a ArcGIS online subscription or an ArcGIS enterprise. If you're an existing customer already, these solutions are included, they are available, they are free as far as a part of that subscription. So I want to take a few moments today to just kind of give you a 30,000-foot view over what ArcGIS solutions are, what it's like to deploy one, what configurations are involved in kind of setting up a solution, and what you get out of a solution. So to begin with, we're just going to give a quick tour around ArcGIS solutions and show you some of the plethora of options. Right now, I'm seeing 139 different solutions that Esri offers. So you're spoiled for choice. You have a lot of possibilities here. And I think it's important just to kind of let you know that these are available and encourage you to go to this website that I have pulled up on their screen right now to just kind of scroll through and investigate the solutions options that you have that could really help your agency, help your organization, improve how you use GIS data, the insights that you can gain from the data that you already have, and to just help you be a better communicator and more knowledgeable about the work that you're doing, whether that's in public safety, which is what we'll be focusing on here, or just local government, facility management, utilities. There's a whole lot of options here. So I will show you this web page that I have pulled up here shortly, but let's go on to the next slide really quick. What we'll be grounding our talk today in is public safety. There are, in general, solutions are industry-specific configurations of GIS tools or programs that are already in consultation with the industry and clients that Esri has interacted with. They kind of build out a framework of their web maps, web apps, forms, dashboards. They pre-configure these into kind of a template that is set up to, get you over that initial deployment hurdle of seeing what your need is and finding it in the solution, and then just simply clicking deploy, and it kind of gives you a pre-made setup of web apps, web maps, dashboards that you can use and configure to kind of customize for your agency. So the level of customization and configuration that's needed for each solution is really dependent upon your specific needs. I will say that all of these solutions are they're able to be built from scratch. They are, like I said, a template. So what they're being used for, or what all of the component parts of a solution are individually available for, if you're really GIS savvy, you can completely duplicate an Esri solution, building all of the feature, the web features and the web maps, web apps. What the solutions do is they've taken that initial, startup and kind of already laid it out there for you. So hopefully whenever you need to plug in your data, it's already kind of set up in a way that makes sense. The flows into the derivative products are easier. So let's talk about this a little bit more and dig into it. So specifically, public safety examples, what we'll be focusing on today, really centers around police, fire, and emergency management. utilities. So there are a number, like I said earlier, there are 139 different solutions out there. I just took a grab of a few interesting ones that I found just to cite as an example of solutions that are focused on policing and solutions that are focused on fire operations. So there's a crime analysis solution to help identify emerging trends, organize law enforcement operations, and crime prevention strategies. There's activity dashboards to see what's happening in real time. Special event operations, so providing security for a particular area, say like a town fair or like a community event. And then there's also traffic crash analysis. So this is where, roles kind of move around depending on which state you live in, which county you live in. In my past work, traffic crash analysis was a kind of a joint operation between the sheriff's department and the highway department. So there are ways that these solutions can kind of cross between or kind of fall in between different agency usages. So fire, for example, hydrant inspections, target hazard analysis, so understanding which buildings could cause and mapping which buildings could cause some issues to your community, fire service maps and pre-incident planning. All of these are solutions that are available to a ArcGIS Online subscriber or an enterprise customer. Yeah, really fascinating. So let me dig into the solutions page itself. All right, so what I have as part of this tour, I'm going to click through a few tabs that I've kind of opened up ahead of time to help guide us a little bit. So right now I have all 139 solutions opened, and you can see that we have a plethora of options here. The industry, Esri has also categorized these into specific industries. So if you're looking for a specific tool within your industry, feel free to filter over here on the left-hand side. But just kind of slowly going through some of these solutions, there are a lot of very usable ones. This address data management solution is really useful if you want to standardize how addresses are assigned and your address data is populated within your GIS data. We have water distribution, we have gas and pipeline referencing. So there's just a whole lot of options that I really encourage you to check out to see if there are any solutions that you are that could be useful for your organization or agency. But specifically what we're going to be focusing on today is our public safety options here. You can see that the address data management is classified within the public safety, and this is where we kind of what I was alluding to before, where a solution can serve multiple purposes for different agencies. So address data management, yes, it's important for public safety. We know that for 911 emergency management dispatch, but it's also important to your clerks, your assessors. So there are multiple stakeholders that could be involved in any one of these solutions. So just scrolling down to show you a few of the options here. A lot of these and what we're going to be focusing on today are EMA, Emergency Management Agency duties and applications. So for those of you that may not be in the EMA space, there's a fine line. There's a lot of collaboration between, standard policing and emergency management authorities. But the main difference here is emergency management is response to emergency situations, like a larger scale situation, rather than a domestic issue. If it's say like a tornado or a flood event where we have a large number of citizens impacted by an emergency event, that's where our EMA agencies really get involved. They work to standardize and assist in communication between agencies and between operation responses. So what I'm going to do here is focus on, scroll all the way down here just so you see some of the options that we have. And then I'm going to scroll back up and show you the solution that we'll be focusing on today. So we're going to be focusing on this emergency management operations solution. And I'm just going to click on it right now just to show you what you would see during the initial deployment option. So you'll click on that solution. Esri has a nice video associated with it to kind of give you an introduction on what that solution does, what it was designed for. And then, obviously a short overview here. So this is essentially, the solution is to help with situational awareness, to share essential emergency information data during an emergency with various stakeholder groups, whether that's policing agencies, fire response, other EMS response, or volunteers going out to collect damage assessments, understanding where shelters are located, whatever the emergency that you're planning for might be. This solution has the capability of helping you pre-plan for that circumstance, to understand the needs of your community, to understand what resources that you have. And a lot of this information you may already know. It may just not be represented in GIS data. And hopefully this talk will kind of give you an insight on how useful deploying that information that you may already have in a GIS format can be. So I've opened up this emergency operations solution. What I would do is click deploy now to have it install on my AGOL account or enterprise account, depending on which way you're viewing the solutions page. And I have already done that. So I've deployed it, and now I'm going to give you a quick tour of what it looks like. So within after deploying the emergency management operation solution, you're going to see a lot of data, a lot of new features, new web maps, new apps that are included in this deployment. Right here is our essentially the deployment home page, if you will. And this gives you a description again of what this solution is designed to do. And it gives you kind of a overview of the contents that are included in the solution. One of the benefits of using ArcGIS is that you have multiple platforms that interact with one another and are capable of adjusting to the workflow that you have and what your level of comfort, I suppose, on what program that you feel comfortable editing and working within. So while the solution itself is deployed on AGOL or Enterprise, we can also access this information in ArcGIS Pro. Arc Pro is the program that I use the most often. It's the one that I'm most familiar with. And it's nice to be able to use that program and upload, override web layers in ArcGIS Pro, which will affect the solution. So let's pop over to the content tab. So we can see some similar data that was referenced in that previous emergency management operations tab here, but this is more of a direct look within the ArcGIS online infrastructure at the web layer or feature layers and web maps that are included. So you can see that there's quite a few. We have emergency response volunteer feature layers that are separated within field worker types and a normal type. We have active and public feature layers, and all of these are already designed and configured so that we're not sharing editable information to the wrong map. We're only sharing features that are meant to be public to the public maps. So it's the thought process of which feature layers are deployed where or loaded into a map is already thought out, which it really helps get the solution off the ground and help you deploy and get use out of these tools quickly. So let's just dig into a few of the options that we have here. We have our content which we can open. You can see that we have several web maps here. And just to kind of take a step back to kind of give you an idea of how these programs work together. We have our feature layers, which act as shape files if you will. They're hosted online, but you can take data from a file geodatabase and publish them onto your hosted feature layer. These feed into web maps, and those web maps can then be deployed as web apps. The applications essentially take that web map and provide an interface for your audience to view that web map, edit it, or not really edit it, but adjust it in ways that they want, that allow you to kind of control what they're able to view and design the usefulness of that app for a particular purpose. So we have several web apps here. We have an incident status dashboard, we have a situational awareness viewer, and we have an operations response. These three web maps are fed into an instant app called the incident briefing. And that's what I'm going to show you during this tour real quick. So this incident briefing, I've just opened it up. And we can see that this is kind of a combination of our three web maps to make it easy for, in your EOC, Emergency Operations Command post, for you to have one tab that allows you to see a situation in multiple perspectives. So we have a situational awareness tab here. We have our operations response tab once this loads, which should be pretty quick. And then we have our incident status, which is a dashboard. And again, this is configured very lightly. I've really just deployed the solution and put in a few example data sets just so that we have something to display on these maps and to show you some of the interesting features that just come packed into a solution. So, everyone loves dashboards. They're great to look at. They can consolidate a lot of information very quickly. And these are usually what we, in my past experience, what EOC really likes to see, a quick understanding of a situation. And one of the really cool things about the solutions is Esri has some of the data already preloaded. So this weather warnings data set here, we can see it displayed on our map, thankfully not really within our area where our data is, but this data is live weather information, weather warnings that you can pull in. So we have an air quality alert over here, and let's go over a little bit further. We have a heat advisory just a bit further away. So live weather data is piped in. So if you have a storm coming, if you have a flood event, you'll be able to see weather information while also seeing what's going on with active incidents, shelter occupancy, number of shelters, et cetera, et cetera. Let's pop over back to our situational awareness web app here. I just have this pre-configured with some fire and police locations. That's what's being displayed on our map right now. But we have other data sets loaded into this web map that are just not viewable right now. But what we can do in our situational awareness, let's just kind of come up with a theoretical incident. So I'm going to draw a line of a worst case scenario tornado event that follows closely along this river here. And I've set my buffer distance to a 1 mile radius from the tornado event. And this is something that you can do not only right now. We're just doing this the situational awareness incident, option here. This is an unofficial incident. We can save it if we want to. If we aren't sure of the exact path of the tornado, we can always adjust this in the future. But if we're getting early reports of a tornado path, we can kind of estimate what we're dealing with here. So I've just drawn a simple line across here, and now we can see while we don't have all of our data loaded into this solution, we can see some of the opportunities that the solution brings us. So whenever I draw an incident line here, we can it automatically pulls up special needs, schools, shelters, hospitals, road closures, and potential impact tabs for us to investigate. So what it's doing is within that buffer, it's showing us what entities, what points of concern would be affected in this event. So we can see that we have 22 schools impacted by this tornado event here. You would have the number of students if we added that data to this data set. If we click over, we don't have any shelters or hospitals or road closures currently in this impact area. One of the neat features that Esri brings, one of the advantages of having these solutions, is that we're pulling in census data as well. So we can see a rough population estimate of the number of people that would be impacted by this event. So total population is just under 60,000, with a breakdown of under 18, so children that we would need to take care of, and then over 65 population as well. A very interesting and very useful solution just in our situational awareness. So this tab is really meant for understanding what impact we're going to be facing for public infrastructure in our human population in an emergency event. With our operations response tab, we can do something similar where let's just draw another similar tornado path. I forgot to set my buffer distance, so let's do that. So in our operations response here, now this is going to be more inward facing for our decision makers and response agencies. So we can see what number of distribution we have as far as if we need to get MREs out, do we need tarps out to the community or water. You can see where our shelters, we just have one test shelter loaded. We can see where that shelter is in comparison to the impacted area. Again, schools, those are important, response facilities, special needs, etc. Again, this was all just from one quick deployment, and then taking some data that we already had on hand and plugging it in to the features that came with the solution itself. So a really easy deployment, and CloudPoint, what we specialize in is taking our clients' data and making the most of it. So if you have any questions about how your data in its particular format or schema could situate itself or be useful in a solution, we're happy to have those conversations with you to try to make the most of this solutions package that Esri offers.